What are you doing? Alright, so the only videos that I have filmed, and have filmed for like 2 weeks, have been hauls, and I know nobody wants like 5,000 hauls in a row, so I decided that I'm going to tell my Beneful story and tell you why I don't trust Beneful and why I believe Beneful killed my dogs. Don't you dare. No. Little jealous ass. No. Quit that. Be nice to Feeny. Tell you why, Beneful killed, or I think killed my dog. Should I say, this dog is being a little bud. She's like growling at her like her best friend. That's her best friend, and she's growling at him because she just had a treat, and so she's like all protective. She's gonna go over there and act like she's mean. So I decided to share my Beneful story just because I feel like people need to be aware of some of the things that can happen with dog treats or anything like that. I'm not saying that Beneful did kill my dogs. I'm not shaming the brand. I'm not doing anything but saying why I believe they killed my animals and telling you guys the story and why I believe that. So yeah, I don't mean anything hateful towards Beneful. This is just to tell you guys what my experience was and you know, hopefully, you know, let you guys just be warned. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of different things that happen, like, you know, you hear brands. Why did I scare you? I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. You know, just there's different brands and things that you hear about different brands and things like that. And not every animal. I've scared you twice. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. You're so sleepy. And why, you know, there is different brands. Sorry, this video has been a fail so far. There's different things about different brands, you know, like flea medicine that I use. There's been a case of it killing a dog. You know, animals can have allergic reactions, and every animal reacts to things differently. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to bash Beneful or anything of that sort. But I'm just sharing my story about what happened with me when I used Beneful. So, I had a dog for 8 years. I got him when I was 5, I want to say. Like 5 or 6. I was 14 when he passed away, and I got him, and I had him for 8 years, so whatever the math is for that. Definitely not 5. But I had him for 8 years, and we used Beneful dog food. He had a gorgeous coat. He was a Pomeranian and Chihuahua mix. He was very thick coated, and he had a gorgeous coat, and Beneful kept him what we thought was healthy, and like fat, like, you know, good weight. And that's the only dog food we used. He was going blind at the age of 8 years. He was going blind, but he wasn't dying. Blind dogs live all the time. But one day he wouldn't come out of his cage to eat or drink or use the bathroom, and he was seizing and having convulsions. This was really hard for me to stomach because this was the dog that I had since I was a little girl, and this was the dog that I grew up with. I'm gonna get emotional a lot in this video, so just fair warning. This was just, you know, my baby. This was my first real dog. And he was seizing and convulsing, and we called my cousin, whom was a vet tech, and she basically said, he may have to be put down. There's nothing any vet can really do. Just try to see if he'll pull out of it. So we gave it a day, and I believe it was 9:44. He passed away, and it was heartbreaking, and it was scary. And I sat with him, and I say that he, you know, said hello to my grandma, and just because, you know, he kind of howled when he left, and I think that was him going into heaven. That's what I believe. That's what I'm going to always believe. And it was hard for me, and I didn't connect with a dog after that, and I know a lot of people get on him, like, well, what happened to this dog you had, and what happened to this dog, and I don't get animals and just trade them in and out. I'm not that type of person. Typically, if I get an animal and I don't keep it, it was a foster that I was just keeping for a few, you know, a little bit, or something didn't work out. Whether the dog was just, like, horribly behaved or mean or something, there was always a reason that I didn't keep an animal, and I never connected with any dogs after him. It was just really hard for me, and I know there's been a few puppies or rabbits or animals that has been shown on my page, and I sometimes get hate for that, and it's not me per se that gets rid of them. Sometimes, you know, I do live with my mom, and then, you know, she would make me get rid of them occasionally, and sometimes they just really wouldn't work out, and you can't help that. I never dumped them or anything like that. I would either give them to the shelter or give them a better home, and I say better because sometimes I didn't have time for them, or I just couldn't train them. Anyway, moral of the story is I'm not mean to animals, and I love animals, so I don't like that people think bad about that, but anyway, he ended up passing away, and later on I began hearing bad things. Sorry, I'm rocking Prim. I began hearing the rumors of Beneful being bad for dogs. But I couldn't really connect that just because I didn't really know. Fast forward, you know, through all the animals that I couldn't connect with from losing him, and I got my mom's dog. This one is really hard for me. I got my mom's dog, and she was a Weimaraner and Doberman mix. She was my baby. We battled Parvo in the winter of 2015. We battled Parvo, and we beat it. We had a huge vet bill, and we still beat it. She lived through it, and it was great. We don't know how she contracted it or anything like that, but we beat it. And after that, she would get sick sometimes, and she would just not be normal, but she would always bounce back. You know, just a couple, you know, I just noticed she looked different, you know, she always bounced back. I think she always carried that Parvo with her. But, we were looking for a dog food that both Isa and Nova would like, because they were both really picky, and we decided to try Beneful because we couldn't connect, his name was Jingles, we couldn't connect his death to the food. He was old, and it could have, bless you, and it could have really been anything, so we decided to try Beneful again, and I was leery, but, you know, I tried it, and not long after trying Beneful did we notice that Nova wouldn't eat. She had done this before, but she always began eating. She always bounced back, and I tried. And I tried, and I waited, and I waited, and she was drinking, and she was eating a little bit, but she wasn't eating a lot. And, I went in there one night, and I went to feed her, and she refused, and she never refused, really. And so I left food in there, and I left her some bologna, and the next day, fast forward, and I went in there, and she was on the floor, and her eyes were sunken, and she was, I didn't think she was breathing. I thought she was dead. So I, of course, broke down crying, freaking out, and then my mom realized that she was breathing. So 3 days before Prim was born, December 20th, I sat with my dog for 8 hours on the floor. I was almost 39 weeks pregnant, and there was nothing I could do. There was no emergency vets. There was nothing. There's no emergency vets around here except for one, and they don't take animals unless you are a previous, like, patient. So I sat with my dog, and she passed away. And it's really hard because, you know, I promised her that I wouldn't leave her, and my mom basically had to make me get off the floor at 38 weeks and so many days pregnant and go to sleep in my bed. I went to sleep around 1:30, and when I woke up about 5, she was still breathing, and then 6, she was gone. So, none of this happened before Beneful. She would stop eating, but I think that was just because she was stubborn. She was a stubborn dog, and I think that, you know, I don't know what happened. I can't blame Beneful, but I can tell you that she wasn't passing away before we tried Beneful. And Isa ate it, and Isa's okay, so I don't know for sure. I don't really know. But I avoid Beneful in every way, shape, and form. I threw out the Beneful that we had left, and I won't ever buy it. I don't use the treats. I don't do anything, and I didn't mean to be a crybaby all through this video, but it is very hard for me to talk about. It has been 4 years since my dog Jingles passed away, but it's only been 4 months since Nova passed, and that's hard. She's about 1.5 years old, and I bonded with her so much, and it was so hard for me because after Jingles, I couldn't bond with an animal. And then I found Nova, and we got her, and it was my mom's dog, but I took care of her a lot. And I'm so sorry that I'm being a crybaby. So I didn't really bond with anything, and then I found Isa. And, Isa is my companion. I begged my mom for hours to let me buy her, and she's the only animal that I have that isn't a rescue. She is a pit bull, apparently St. Bernard mix. She was 6 weeks old and was so adorable, and I just really needed this dog, you know? I was pregnant and I wanted something to put my time into because I couldn't really do much, and I really just needed her. So I got her, and in a way I kind of did save her life, because not long after that there were like 9 puppies, I think, and her and 2 others are the only ones that lived. I guess they contracted parvo or something of that sort and ended up passing away. So in a way I guess I did save her life, and she is my companion. I couldn't imagine life without her. Like I said, I don't know if Beneful actually killed my dogs, but it is very ironic that after they began eating Beneful, Nova passed away. I don't need hate, you know, oh, you're stupid. That's my opinion, and it may not be what happened, but I know that I'm going to avoid it for safe measures. I did not mean to cry all through this video, and I did not mean to sound so horrible and so gross, I don't know, but it's very hard for me to talk about, and it's something that is very, very hard for me because animals are my life, you know. I've rescued, I've fostered, I have, at this moment, Isa, 3 grown cats, 5 kittens, and 2 bunnies. I love animals, and it's, you know, people often ask, you know, what happened to this animal that you had, and what happened to this animal, and like I was saying, you know, I don't just get them to get rid of them, but it takes a special connection with an animal, and I couldn't find that, and sometimes I didn't control it because they were too misbehaved, or I wouldn't put enough time into them, or, you know, there was always a reason. It wasn't just because, oh, I don't like you anymore. It wasn't that. I've had my cats for almost 4 years, 3 years, and 1.5 years. And I did have to get rid of a bunny because I was pregnant and there wasn't enough room in my apartment that I lived in before this. I mean, there was enough room, but it would have been crowded, so we decided to get rid of the bunny with the big old hutch and get rid of someone who could spend a lot more time with her and would give her more attention than I was, and she went to a little girl. So yeah, I don't ever do anything bad or anything like with the animals or anything like that. Animals really are something that is very, very dear to me, and talking about the death of two of the closest animals that I had a bond with besides Isa and my cats is very hard for me. I've went through many animal deaths, and it sucks, and I hate it, and I just don't want to talk about it, but I just want to share my opinion, and that's why I don't use Beneful. And I know that on the video that I asked people want to see the video on why I don't use Beneful, there were a lot of comments about bad things that's happened with dogs that use Beneful, and I'm when it comes to many situations of animals getting sick and dying randomly when they use that dog food, it just, you know, it just kind of adds up, kind of like people getting the flu from the flu vaccine. You know, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be linked to it, you know. I don't mean any disrespect for Beneful, and I'm so happy if your dog eats Beneful and they're healthy, but my animals will never use Beneful. I used to believe it was a good dog food and a good brand, but after losing 2 animals, I'm scared, you know. I don't want to lose Isa, I don't want to lose my cats, I don't want to lose my kids, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to lose anybody, and losing an animal to me is like losing another one of my kids. And I mean, yeah, I have a farm, basically, but I love them all, you know. That's just my story with Beneful, and don't be afraid to share yours down below. I don't want to ruin the company. Obviously, one video is not going to ruin them, but I did just want to share my experience with it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if I don't even know, because all I did was cry. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell if you want to see more of me, and get notifications when I upload. Don't forget to follow the link in the description, and go follow me on Instagram. I upload there a lot, and I hope you guys I don't know, have a terrific day.